Rise and shine, Value Farm family. Welcome back to another episode of The Farm. If you are new here, you are most welcome. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and also turn your notification bells on not to miss out on any videos on this channel. And of course, to all our returning subscribers, thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys so much. You guys have a special place in our hearts, and of course, yeah, we love you guys so much. Please guys, if you haven't already followed us on our social media platforms, please go check out our Instagram, that is Value Farm UG, and also Facebook, Value Farm UG. That is where we put our behind the scenes, and of course we also educate, put in content there for everyone who is really interested. We have our pictures for the animals at the farm, you know, all those behind the scenes guys. Guys, we are back at the farm, and it's really very nice to be back at the farm. It is cool, it's chilled, the sun is just coming out. It is just so beautiful, guys. If you're an aspiring farmer, start right away, because there's a lot that you will be able to enjoy at your farms. I also have my co-director on standby here, who is going to say hello to you guys and also introduce himself to you watching him for the first time.
My name is Grafton. I'm one of the co-directors of Value Farm, and I have to tell you guys, it's truly a pleasure, a real privilege to actually be standing on this amazing place here that we call our farm. And you know, we're standing in an area that we don't often show you guys.
I know,
but the background speaks for itself. You know, I know I live in Kampala. I live in the heart of the madness. One of the best ways for me to decompress by coming to work. How many of you out there can actually say when you get to work, that's when your stress level goes down?
True.
And so always happy to be here. But today, the reason we're here is because, again, we actually want to continue the theme of actually answering some of your most highly requested questions, some of the thoughts behind why we do things the way that we do it, the process that we undertake trying to run this farm to a point where, you know, it's not easy to start a farm, but it's even more technically tricky to actually build a commercial farm from scratch.
That is true.
And so while we're here, some of the questions that you guys ask us, number one, you know, why did we choose this location, right? The area that we decided to farm. And it comes down to what we've told you guys before. You have to research. You have to really understand the area that you want to get into.
True.
You have to make sure that you have a way for your trucks to get to the farm, so when you start producing, you can actually get your produce off the farm into the marketplace.
That is true.
Because a lot of the buyers out there, when they get to your farm, you don't want to have to get in the practice of lying to people, of telling them that your farm is 123 kilometers away from Kampala, when you're really 3 hours beyond that. So our farm is actually 76 kilometers exactly from Kampala. So when we actually did the drive the first 4 times while we were here in the bush, in the dust, figuring out whether or not we wanted to be here, that was a huge factor. Yes, the roads are not perfect yet, but at some point we believe those changes are going to come. But the actual distance itself, to actually get from Kampala to Kasana, that could easily take you about like an hour and a half maximum, where you're gonna have to slow down significantly based on how you drive, because we are in Uganda after all. Some of you might be driving Helixes, some of you might have the big boy trucks. Instead of taking the extra hour to get across on the dusty road, it might actually be like a 25-30 minute ride for you guys. But in terms of actual distance, it's only 76 kilometers away from Kampala. So that was a huge factor for us. Exactly.
Of course, whenever you're going to buy farmland, most cases you're going to go to villages, you're going to rural areas whereby, you know, the roads are not really so perfect. Trust me, that is one of the assignments that you really need to put into consideration, to create the roads for your produce to get in and out of your farm. Because without that, you're going to, you know, fail to transport materials to your farm, even building materials. Guys, it is really very difficult if you go to a place whereby there's no road, actual road to your farm. So you have to create all this, and this is what you have to put into your budget as well. We've really talked about what you really need to start a farm, and these are some of the things that most people do not really look at, but they're the things that you really need as you're looking for the location of your farm. We chose this very place here. The road network is not perfect, but it's promising. And of course, the roads right now are being worked on. Surprisingly, electricity is also coming. It's already even, the poles already on the ground, which is really amazing. The first time we came here, the poles weren't there, the electricity wasn't there. But of course, we had an idea of improvising using our solar. But right now, the poles on ground, we are going to get electricity very, very soon. So if you're going to get a place, at least look at the area, look at the development of the location so that you can set up your farm there.
True, but also a major factor that goes into you guys choosing where to actually locate your farm. You know, a lot of people want to be close to the city. They think that's an advantage, but in some instances, it could be a very big disadvantage.
That is true.
Because if everybody can get to your farm, but you know, if your farm is a stone's throw away, yes, based on the type of farming you're doing, it could be great. But if you are into livestock, like we're in, you know, you don't want the world to be able to just get to your farm within 5 minutes, because that's where the same way you can get to your farm within 5 minutes, that's how the thieves are going to be able to get
That
to your
is true,
farm
easily.
within 5 minutes. That's how, if you're keeping pigs, you know, when you have your staff that are always constantly going into the city, going to these different types of restaurants, going into these other places that are super, super close to your location, that's how they can easily track other pathogens back to your farm,
That is
back
true.
to your flock, and that's how you can lose all your animals. Granted, African swine flu, you know, can never be 100% prevented, but the best thing you can do is put forth a perfect effort to try to eliminate that. And distance
Yeah.
from the general population plays a huge factor, because even your vet that comes to your farm, you need to treat that vet as if he or she is bringing the swine flu to your farm. So by the time they get here, you need to have extra boots for them. You need to have extra lab coats for them. You want to make sure that they change even before they step foot at your farm. And the dream for us, and ultimately for you also, is to be able to get to the point where you have enough capital,
Yeah,
where
true.
you can actually have a vet on the ground, 24 hours, 7 days a week. That way you don't have to worry about that factor, right?
Wow.
So those are some things that you need to keep in mind. But another thing you need to keep in mind, where your farm is located, your neighbors, right? How close are your neighbors to your
you.
farm? Because that could be a blessing, and it could also be a curse.
That is true.
Because let's face it, guys, not everybody has the same moral compass that you or myself or my partner might have. And again, you know, we are in business, though we're not trying to compete with anybody, but your neighbor might see you coming in, and they might see that you have a better plan than they do. And some people that have dark hearts, they might try to sabotage you. Some people will try to poison your animals, poison your dam, poison your well if they could. So in this instance, it's okay to be a bit more isolated.
True.
Right? The more distance you can have between yourself and your neighbors, the better.
The better.
And also, you guys have heard this many, many times before, having that perimeter, having that barrier between you and your neighbors is extremely important, because at the end of the day, you know, if you're going to invest this much time, money, and energy to get to this point, you want to make sure you protect your investment by any means necessary, particularly by setting up a perimeter and a barrier. Natural barrier, meaning distance away from people, is actually your best friend.
Your best
and
friend.
It's the most economical one you can go with.
I know. Let me tell you guys something. There's someone who contacted me one time, was consulting, and he's from Kenya. And he said there's a farm. Actually, someone poisoned the fish pond.
The fish farm, yeah.
Yeah, that was really so sad. So the distance, like how you relate with the people, how you secure your property, how you secure your farm, also will also save you a lot, because that couldn't have happened in case maybe there's maybe security at the farm to always monitor what is coming into the farm, so that you don't lose everything. Because now for that farmer, they lost all the fish at the farm, and that was the only business that they were doing at that time.
I love bringing this to you for the following reason. Because I know deep in my heart, deep in my soul, before we made this commitment to starting this farm, economically, this was not an easy way to come into this business, because it was during COVID.
Yeah.
It was at a time where it was, apart from research, it was a lot of prayers, a lot of blind faith, and a lot of faith in each other.
True.
And the staff that we wanted to work with. that's also a very key component because, if you're gonna make this level of financial commitment, you need to know how you're gonna get your money back out.
True.
Before you start spending money everywhere, investing your life savings, you need to know, hey, if I invest $5,000, 10,000, whatever your budget might be, that you know what, within 12 months, within 15 months, I'm gonna get back to the black, meaning I'm gonna get to the point where you're profitable. And so for you out there that want to get into this, I know it's a little scary. Don't panic. Like everything else, the best experience is actual hands-on experience, right? You can get the practical information from here, right? We provide that info, but at the end of the day, it's up to you to really work your way into your farm. Don't worry about getting your hands dirty. Don't worry about what's going to happen.
True.
As long as you have a sound plan and you have your budgeting set properly, even room for contingency. And for those of you in the diaspora, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the same thing if you're building a house. If the builder tell you, hey, it's going to cost $100,000 to build your house, you always budget an extra 10 to 15% extra just in case the worst happens.
Yeah.
But if the worst doesn't happen, that's your vacation fund. That's your reward money.
That is true.
Okay, better to have that contingency than not to have it at all.
That is so true, because we've had here circumstances whereby you have a budget for a building, but of course the planner or the person who is in charge gives you a budget, and
they will
when they start
underbid
exactly,
so that when you get halfway through the project,
they start asking
by this
for
point you're stuck. So you don't want to be stuck.
That is so true. So I want you guys to also let us know in the comments. Tell us, have you started your farm? How is your experience so far?
I think that's also important because we love hearing from you guys.
Yeah.
But in terms of, what goes on into the farm, this is a very tricky subject, and I want to make sure that I broach the subject.
Okay.
So, morale.
Okay.
How do you deal with your staff, and how do you keep them motivated? Because let's face it, guys, a lot of the people that will work at your farm, these guys, including some of these ladies, because we have both male and female here at Value Farm. We believe in that. We believe in that diversity is important, right? They're leaving their families, sometimes for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months at a time. And in many instances, these people have actual families. They have babies they're leaving behind. In the case of the wives coming here, they're leaving their husbands behind. They're leaving their children behind. So how do you deal with that? Well, what I like to do, and my partner, she does the same thing here. When we interact with the staff, you don't want to be a corporate farmer in the sense where you don't have the level of comfort with your workers for them to be able to come and talk to you. Because the last thing you want is to just have people just start disappearing off your farm. And a lot of the time, they might have a very, very small issue that could easily be resolved by them being able to speak to you. But if you create that barrier where you have like that corporate ladder, I'm the owner, you speak to my manager, you speak to my assistant manager, I only speak to those people, let me tell you, that is one of the fastest ways to guarantee your failure into farming.
That is so true.
Because the last thing you want to do, these guys, they don't make as much money as you will as the owner of the farm if you're successful. But by the same token, they give you the most precious commodity that they have, and that is their time.
That time.
So when you see your staff, if somebody don't seem like they're okay, I always make it my business, even though I don't speak the local language, but I do try to interact with my guys. I get an interpreter and I pull that person aside, like, hey, are you okay? What's going on? Is everything okay at home? And sometimes when you see that person is not the usual happy and chipper self, then we schedule time for them to go home. And you give them that time to go recharge so that they can come back and be productive. Because let's face it, you can literally have a body physically present, but 100% absent. So the best thing to do is to try to balance the two by, number one, making sure that your staff are okay. Making sure that they have, sometimes it might be financial. Sometimes the money that you pay them is not enough to last through the whole month, right? They might need an advance. Whatever it is, you need to find out what's happening at your farm with your staff. Make sure that they're happy, because a happy farmer a happy worker at your farm is going to be a productive one.
That is
And
so
that is
true.
a very, very key component to running a farm,
Oh, wow.
especially a commercial farm at this level and beyond.
Wow, that is so true. Like barriers, if you create barriers between you and your workers, one, most of the times, whatever happens at the farm,
They're not going to tell
they're
you.
not going to tell you guys in case maybe animals are dying. When they just have that fear, how am I going to approach this boss of mine? These people will not report whatever is happening at the farm because of fear. So you're creating friendship, the relationship is really very clear. Guys will be open to you and tell you what is really happening and also advise you depending, because they're the ones who are on the ground all the time. So they will also advise you as the owner of the farm on how maybe some things can be done. And you have to be also very flexible and also listen to them as well. Because if you're the only one who gives them, you know, what to do and you don't listen to them, sometimes they take it for granted. If things go wrong, they will not have any blame at all.
True. And again, with things going wrong, guys, this is life. We're human. We all make mistakes, right?
That is true.
So when it comes to your staff, even if they deliver you the worst news, even though inside you just want to scream and start breaking things wherever you are, you want to remain calm, you want to remain composed, and you want to treat that person with respect. Because let me tell you, it is so difficult to find good help. It's so difficult to find trustworthy, hardworking people that are going to be dedicated to your farm. Now, we've been very fortunate. Yes, granted, we have our fair share of turnovers. That's just part of running a business.
Yeah.
But the core people here at the farm have been here. Like we've told you guys, we have the pioneers that's been here with us since day zero. Okay? I remember the first time we dropped these guys off here, I could not sleep for 4 days because we literally came with the farm manager at the time, the advisor who was working with us, and we left 5 people in the middle of a jungle. This place was a jungle. In fact, the fact that you guys could even see behind us,
that side though.
You literally, and this is not a joke. There were many times where I had to call my co-director here on the phone to tell her, hey, please slow down. I don't want to get lost here in the bushes, you know? And so these guys came in, they came with their equipment, and literally we came back like 5 days later and a whole section was cleared. This area we're standing here, this used to be bush. This used to be a forest with thorny trees, thorny bushes. You could not see
wild animals
anywhere.
as well.
Yeah, wild animals,
Cobs,
snakes, all types of stuff. So when you have people that make that level of commitment to you and they decide to stay with you, that says a lot about your management skills, your people skill. And I know I want to speak to my African brothers and sisters that are in the diaspora, particularly those of you that are here on the continent. You guys know how you talk to your workers. At times, it's done with a soft touch, but 9 out of the 10 times, we treat these people less than, and it's not okay. And that's the reason why turnover at your farm and your place of business will never stay to the level that it should stay, right? Everyone needs to be treated with respect. Now, if you have an employee who's not living up to his or her potential in terms of professionalism, work ethic, then that's something different.
Yeah,
but even at the time where you need to make a change, you should still treat your staff with dignity and respect, because the way you terminate someone, remember, they still have friends at the farm.
Yeah.
They will also talk to your other workers that are left at your farm. So you should always treat everybody with respect, and you maintain that level of professionalism throughout. Because the more you do that, the better off you're gonna be.
Wow, that is really so good, guys. I know you guys really come to watch these videos to get inspired, to get motivated. We do not really come here to waste time. If you have the ears, please implement whatever you hear from here. Do not just sit and hear from me and it gets out of here. Please practice what we are preaching here. We are not so perfect as farmers. We are learning as well, but at least we are here to share the knowledge and, of course, from experience, what is really happening on the ground.
And again, I want to say this to those of you that are not here yet local. You might, again, be physically present in the UK, Australia, somewhere in the Caribbean chasing their dream financially. And in reality, guys, let me tell you something. As an American, as a foreigner who's here, back on the motherland, I can tell you the level of skill that we amass across the globe, the way that all of these Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 1000 companies around the globe have made so much money based on your knowledge and our work ethic, right? It's time to actually come back home.
Oh, wow.
You know, the world is changing, right? Everything is shifting around us, you know? And believe me, when it comes to this, you know, the ground that we're standing on, this is where a lot of us had no choice but to leave this wonderful continent. But if you have the option and you have the knowledge, you have the training because you've actually been exposed to something different, you come back home.
Come back.
You know, time is now. The dividend is ready to be distributed.
Yeah.
And the best way you can actually uplift your community, your people, listen, whether you're a data scientist or actual scientist, or whether you're a doctor, lawyer, engineer, you know, you don't have to necessarily be a farmer to get into farming. You know, you can learn to be a farmer.
True.
But your knowledge in terms of management, soft skills, people skills, leadership, that's already ingrained in you. So bring it back. Let's see what we can do together as a movement, as a team, as a family. Because let's face it, if all the farmers around the globe, all of you guys out of from the diaspora come back, even if we get 25% of you to come back and actually implement what you've learned, we can truly change the world. And believe me, without food, you have nothing.
True.
So let's get this done together as a team.
What more can I say? You said it all. Guys, do the needful and come back home and at least do something for yourselves as well and the community. But we really appreciate you guys so much. We love you guys so much. And if you haven't already subscribed, I don't know what you guys are still waiting for, because all the knowledge you're going to find about farming is at Value Farm.
Real life experience knowledge, actual applicable knowledge here.
It's right here.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram. The numbers are still looking kind of suspect, although they are improving.
Yes.
But I know we can do better. So
We
go
can
out
do
there,
better.
you follow us, Value Farm UG. And of course, we'll be seeing you guys there.
Wow. Tell a friend to tell a friend and subscribe, like the video. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.